cabin was it? Where was it? Was that?
Oh, it was in South Carolina near Spartanburg somewhere.
Spartanburg. Wow, that's where my family is from. That
Really?
area. Yeah, Cowpens, Spartanburg area.
Yeah, it
like
wasn't. It was like I forget the name of the town, but it wasn't like directly in Spartanburg. But
gotcha. It might. Maybe it was Cowpens.
Maybe I don't.
That's
If
where.
you say it, I'll remember
You
it.
stood out there for a week, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's so like
So
I
peaceful.
recommend that
It is.
everybody unplug, like especially from social media.
Oh yes.
Just to be like, because there's times where I unplug for a week or I unplug for a whole month, because you get so addicted to it, and it's just so part of your routine where you're just constantly checking, and
Yeah.
So I'm like, just
Well,
connect for a while, so then that way things can become clear to you.
Yeah, and then you regain your power. And
Yeah.
Chris was talking earlier about contentment,
Mhm.
and what I was thinking was, what I've realized is that anything that holds your attention or that holds your irritation or something that just drives you up the walls, you're giving that thing power.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're looking at your phone and like you're really drawn in by Instagram or whatever, like then Instagram has your power, and you're giving up your power to Instagram or to TikTok or to whatever, or to the person who cut you off in traffic, like whatever it is. And so if you can think about it that way, like you have to really cherish your power. And you have to,
Protect
hold
your
on to
power.
it.
You
Yeah.
have to protect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like why unplugging is so important, because they are taking your power. They're taking your mind. They're taking whatever they can,
Right.
But it's like we can't even blame them because we're allowing it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we don't have to allow that.
You can't blame anybody for anything.
Exactly.
Right.
Ever.
Yes. Yes. That's you. And for you to get that, that's probably why you're so far ahead in life right now. Is because you're not blaming anybody. You're just
No.
like, hey, I'm just
Me.
gonna go do what I feel like I'm called to do,
Right. Right.
and which obviously is a great calling.
I hope so.
Because you're helping so many people by giving this piece of you that is so deep. This is like you can hear everything you have gone through in your music. It's intense. it's impactful.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just the beginning, because you're only 25 years old, right? It's like, wow.
Growth came out in 2021.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah,
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, there's another one too, is circularity.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
That's also great.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Chris, for throwing that on there. But,
What was that one about? Or what is it about? I should say, not was.
What is it about? Well, everything's kind of a cycle. Life is a cycle. Even like, I realized with the new year, every year there's winter, and maybe not in Florida, but in other parts of the world, there's winter and things kind of die and they become dormant. And then in the spring, it's like things come back to life and you kind of have like hope again. And then summer, like the cycles are always the same. And I kind of realized the earth kind of has this natural resurrection process every year. The entire universe, like the sun, the planets, everything, there's a natural cycle to it. So I don't know if there's a concrete personal meaning to it, but there's just that idea that everything kind of runs in cycles. And you have to kind of be in control of your own cycle, and you're the operant power of your life. So yeah.
wow. So it's like a lot of your music is like taking your power back and not giving your power away.
Because it's so easy to give it away.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you have to remind yourself every single day.
Yes.
It's not like I'm better or whatever, or someone who, like the monk who's meditating every day. He's just trying to do that all the time,
And if something's tormenting you, don't stay in torment. Like actually do something about it instead of complaining and staying in it.
Right.
Like if you feel yourself complaining a lot, then you obviously don't like what you're going through. So find a way, get a solution, find a way out of it.
Anything you don't like in somebody else is something you don't like in yourself, and vice versa.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Anything
That's
you love in somebody else is something you love about yourself that you would love for yourself to express.
Something to think about.
Wow. I just love how like ahead of the game she is. You know, like it's more brilliance.
Yeah.
More brilliance being shared.
I guess.
Totally true.
So being that you're down here right now, I'm sorry, actually, I wanted to speak on this too. Is everything that you have that bioluminescence? We were listening to it on the way over here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, it's so movie worthy, like Hollywood movie worthy. Like everything that you do, I'm like, man, this should. Like, I could hear this on the soundtrack, like in the background of a movie.
The goal.
You know,
It's
that's the goal. Oh, I could see that happening easily.
So it actually is in one film right now.
Oh, wow.
The film is called Healing Waters, which is interesting because if you look at the cover and all the artwork that I made for bioluminescence, it's water. And so actually a big symbol for me in 2022 was water in the ocean and the healing aspects of water, which is, just so happens I worked on a film called Healing Waters, which was about, there's a photographer, she's a real woman named Linda Troller, and she's now like, I think in her 70s or 80s, but throughout her life, she took photos of women in particular in vulnerable positions that had to do with water. And she had like a lot of experiences with water, like healing people, whether like physically or emotionally or whatever. And so like she had her own experience of water healing her and healing the people she was photographing. And so, bioluminescence is sort of about that. But going back to the film thing, so it is in Healing Waters, and I just pitched it for a couple of other potential films or videos or whatever. But the funny thing was I did submit it. There's like a website where you can submit music to put on playlists on Spotify. They all declined it, and they all said it's too cinematic. We want like chill, relaxing piano. I'm like, oh, well, that's not me, so I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, thank you, I guess. I don't know.
Right. It's completely soundtrack.
Right.
Honestly.
And I didn't know how you pitch it to movie producers to be like, oh, choose my music for your movie. Like, I didn't know what that process is.
Well, there's music supervisors, and I have a couple of websites where people can like download my music to use in like content that they make. But some of these websites have like different tiers. So they might have like music for like YouTube videos, and they might have like music for commercials and advertisements, and then like music for movies. So
wow, I say like keep pitching because obviously I could tell in your tone you're like this is what I do, so I don't really care.
I mean I'm working on another film called Wildfire actually, and it's funny because there's healing waters and wildfire. So it's an interesting like dichotomy. But I mean actually the director decided to work with me because she heard Circularity, and Circularity like really spoke to her for some reason. And so Circularity is in that film as well, but I did write like a bunch of other music for the film in addition to Circularity being licensed.
What was the name of that one again?
Wildfire.
Wildfire.
2 words. So
Wildfire.
And these ones are not
Healing Waters.
Healing Waters. They're not
production.
out yet.
No.
Okay. So they'll probably be like when they are released. Do you think it'll be like a Netflix situation or like
the way that works is you have to have someone like buy the film to put it on Netflix or whatever. So right now they're in the process of, at least Healing Waters, they're trying to make that happen. So
yes,
I mean, we'll see, but they just submitted it to a bunch of festivals. So
in like the title Healing Waters, it fits with everything that you do. As well, and I love that how like you attract what you are.
Oh yeah.
And like look how she's attracting like like healing.
Yeah.
It's like it's all over it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this music is healing. And it's gonna heal so many people.
I hope so.
Oh man, I think it already is. I mean, I was looking at Spotify, and like some of your tracks have like thousands and thousands of listeners. Like one has like almost 40,000. Listens. I don't know how that works. Is that a listen? Is that per listen, or is
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah. But I was like, man, she's like in just the brief time that I've been following her, that's gone up tremendously. And I think that's another thing. Like if you hear something you like people, we need to share that. Put that on your story. Put that behind things that you do.
Word.
Yeah, like start like promote things that you like. You don't have to necessarily. It doesn't have to be some big name that's already made it. Like put the people that are on the way up and start using their stuff behind your stuff and get them out there. I try to post like when I see something that I just post it to my story. But yeah, I just see you on so many big stages, and just elegant stages too, like playing in front of like an audience of people dressed in like, nice suits and
Really?
like, oh my goodness, yes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes, like I would get dressed up to come see Brianna Tam, and I would pay good money.
Right.
Take
You know
notes,
what I'm
guys.
saying? Right? Yeah, stadiums, whatever it may take. But I would love to see you like in a beautiful
opera house
setting. Like having people dance to your music. I mean, the sky's the limit. Like, could you imagine dancing to this?
Yes.
It's so like elegant. It's so
like
beautiful.
Lindsay Sterling. Have you heard of her?
Oh yeah, Lindsay Sterling's great.
She plays and performs ballet. It's
Really?
Yes.
at the same time, pretty incredible. But
She's awesome.
have dancers dance to your music for sure.
I have thought about that, but I was gonna make a music video for Eris that involved dancers, but then I realized I'd have to pay every single dancer, and I didn't have the budget for that at the time. But maybe
right in the future.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is this too, is like, just ask, because you might not have to pay. Like some people just want to be involved. Like, and
or
like
collaboration where you're giving the dancer a platform, or so it's like you all are helping each other, so you're just doing it for exposure so that you all can grow where you don't necessarily have to get paid.
That's a good idea.
There's other ways to do it than like the worldly way, as we think we have to give like
Right.
all this money.
I know. I like to, I
Barter.
like paying for
Yeah.
their hard work and
Right,
for their
right,
artistry,
Right.
And I love to surround myself with people, because this is me as well, is like to give without expecting anything in return. Like, like those people are awesome. We don't expect anything. We're just giving ourselves. And I think that God naturally rewards us in all these different creative ways. And like, that's why you hear like some people are like, yeah, you're going to get checks in the mail. That literally does happen. All of a sudden, you'll be surprised, like something crazy could happen where somebody wants to do something great with your music, and they just going to pay you a boatload of money.
Oh, yeah, no, I believe in that. But
I know it's going to happen.
yeah,
I
this
know
hasn't happened yet, but I do believe in that sort
Oh
of thing.
yeah. That's why it's so exciting though to have you on. I'm
Yes.
like, man, we're getting Brianna Tam before everybody knows, before the world knows who Brianna Tam is. And she makes fun of me because I say your full name.
No, I love it. No, I'm not making fun of it. No, I just say that there's certain people that he says the whole name, but yours is, I mean, I know that's your that's your name and your brand and your stage name, but Brianna Tam, it just sounds so good.
Brianna Tam.
Because I was saying that, I'm like, I don't say David Turner. I just say, oh, David,
I like when people say David Anthony.
Yeah, but I like it when people,
Is that your middle name?
That's my middle name.
David Anthony.
Yeah, so I like to go by David Anthony now, but I'm David Anthony Turner.
Yeah.
But after I came to Christ and I was reading all these biblical stories, like God renamed a lot of characters. And I was like, man, I'm not really renaming myself. It's like already who I was, but now I'm using my middle name.
Embracing it.
I'm embracing my middle name, and I'm like, man, David Anthony is a really cool name.
Yeah.
And I was like, I never used Anthony my whole life. And now I'm like, oh man, that's, I'm not knocking off the Turner, because that's who I am.
Turner's
I'm
on the
a
back
Turner.
burner.
Yeah, Turner's on the back burner. Look at you, you're flowing now.
Tam is Tam Filipino or what?
Chinese.
Oh, Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to ask that. That's a great question.
I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
Chinese.
I get asked that if I'm Filipino or
You
Vietnamese.
totally look
all the
Filipino,
time.
and I was like, if not Filipino, then maybe Thai
Yeah, or Vietnamese.
or
That's the other one I
Vietnamese.
get. Yeah.
And you grew up in Connecticut. Your family is still there, or are they here? Yeah.
My nuclear family's in Connecticut, and then extended to New York, and my grandparents are in Georgia. So I was, close to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who put you in the direction of the cello? Was it your mom? Or who,
Oh no.
No.
When I was very young, I wanted to play piano so badly, and my parents didn't give me lessons. I don't know why, but so that kind of laid dormant for many years. And then when I was 8, they had the orchestra program in my school, and I was like, that'd be kind of cool. I wasn't super excited about it, but I signed up for violin. But in true Brianna Tam fashion, I submitted my form late. And
I like that.
And so they filled up the violin slots. They're like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't take any more violinists. Do you want to play viola or cello or bass? And I didn't know anything other than violin, so I'm like, cello, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know what it looked like. And I remember going to the store, and it was like this really intense Italian guy, and he like gave me this giant thing, and I'm like, wait, I don't want to play this. This thing is huge.
Like, it's bigger than me. Right?
Yeah, like I was like, I don't, this is not what I signed up for. Like, I don't want to do this. And, you know, obviously I'm still here. So
that actually adds to the aesthetic as you were speaking of, is because you're short and your instrument is so big. Like, if you think about that, like I was like, that is like, now that you've pointed that out, I'm like, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, the aesthetic, like that is really, you know, that's something that
and
does gravitate.
You stumbled upon it.
Yeah.
You're like,
I mean, I'm glad now, obviously.
Right.
But,
but it was divine providence, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
But that violin, you know, the violin slots were full.
I would not want to play violin now. No offense to violinists, but I'm glad that I played cello.
Wow, yeah, for sure.
And that kind of reminds me of Chris Scamato.
Bro, I was just thinking that.
And how he kind of fell into playing the clarinet.
Yes, exactly.
For band because he got he was his schedule at school or whatever. They put him in band, and he didn't want to do band. He was like, I don't want to be a band geek. I'm not doing that.
Right.
So they put him in band, and they were like, all right, you just do this one day, and then we'll put you out of it. And he loved it so much that he stuck with it. Now he's this world-class musician, you know?
Yes,
I know,
exactly.
It's so and it's amazing because it's like, it's God's divine providence, but we think that we're just stumbling across it, that it's just like
it's
chance.
natural. Like, it's supposed to be, there's like a bridge of incident from like where you are and where you want to be or where you end up. And it's supposed to be natural. So, you know, but you realize, like, looking back, you're like, oh, wait, that was kind of a miracle, I guess.
Right,
Seriously.
Right. It's and I was thinking about Chris. I was like, that's the same situation that you
There's
had.
a lot of similarities,
Like,
and like honestly, I want to introduce you to Chris. Like, I think, you know, even if it's just an introduction at some point, and just get you guys around each other, you know, because I don't know, you know, what could happen. But yeah, he's phenomenal. I highly recommend, if you get a chance, to go back and watch some of those episodes with him. And he speaks, you guys are very in tune, but I guess in the music world, not everybody that does music is going to sound and have all the wisdom that Brianna, Tim, and Chris have. And Chris had a really philosophical view of music, and I think he has a music philosophy degree.
I think so.
From what he was saying.
I think when you get to the point of like composing music, like your life experiences are in your music, and you like what's the word I'm looking for? You
elevate.
Emanate?
No, you can talk about what what inspired you to create those songs so eloquently.
Yeah,
I think that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and Chris is the same way, right? There are so many similarities between the two of you.
Well, I've realized recently, like, you know, I spoke earlier about how, like, in school, I didn't really understand the drama that people were going through. And I've also realized now, as I meet people who have, like, you know, pretty typical lives, like, I don't always, like, you know, I've found ways to relate with them, just like in a social setting, but I don't really get it because my entire life is lived through expressing myself through music and like having to feel my feelings in order to produce music. Because if I'm not vulnerable, then I'm just going to produce, like, you know, cheap music that doesn't really mean anything. Like, I insist on releasing things that have meaning to me. And I realize that not everybody thinks that way, and not everybody like really gets honest with themselves or is vulnerable with themselves or others. And that's been kind of a harsh realization, like, okay, like, most people are not there, but I kind of assume that, oh, you're there because I'm there, and that's not really the case.
Most people don't have the depth.
No.
Oh,
well, they do, but they haven't explored it. Yeah. So.
That's a good point. I like that. I like how you clean that up a little bit, because we all have it. It's just like we have to explore it. You know, it's like, are we willing to?
We all have, yeah,
like that
bound,
more.
You know,
are you willing to go for that more? You know,
it's
like,
scary.
It's scary, but in like, if you talk to a lot of people, that's what it is. It's fear. What was it that we spoke on the other day, where you were talking about like how the enemy is with fear and God is with faith? Yes,
that fear and faith. So the devil operates by getting us in fear, or fear is the devil's currency. and faith is God's currency. So it's like if we have faith, then God can move because we have faith. That's his currency. But it's the same with fear. Once we give into fear, then the devil has his way because that's how he operates.
And just think about it. If you're in fear, you're afraid to be the greatest you.
It's the same idea as giving your power to other things.
Exactly.
And I was telling, I think, David yesterday that I realized recently that fear only exists in the imagination, or you can call it Satan or the devil or whatever, but it's just imagined. And it only exists, therefore, in the past or in the future, which are also imagined.
True.
If you think about like any past memory, if you try to conjure up a future vision, they're equally as blurry or foggy, you know?
Yes.
And like if you're saying, I'm afraid that there's going to be a lot of traffic, that's in the future. That's not right now, you know? And so in the present moment, there's no fear.
That's true. Just like fear, like, you know, the acronym, the like false evidence appearing real. So you're fearful of what could happen in the future, and you have this false evidence, and you're making this, you know, story up, and you're supporting it, you know.
Yeah.
And then so so you don't ever step into that because it's like false evidence appearing real because you're out there in the future, like you said, instead of being like, I'm actually right here, right now. You know,
it's the same thing in the past, because if you had like a event that traumatized you, then you fear that event. But if you're carrying that around, then you're recreating that in your head all the time, and then it produces into your future.
Yes.
It's all tied together.
Yeah.
It's like the present. This came to me just now. Like the present is like a huge gift, and it's like, but it's up to you to unwrap that gift. It's like sitting there right in front of you. You know, and it's like, are you gonna, you know, pull that bow off and open up that top and explore that gift? Or are you gonna keep like looking into the future or looking back?
Right.
You know, because like the best you is in the present, like right now, and like we get so caught up in it can be passed down from generation to generation, as we get so caught up in looking at the future that we forget to live in the now.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube and Spotify at Better Gents Podcast, and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Better Gents Pod. Thank you and take care.